What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, June 9th. It is Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes. So, I did not do well today. I actually only took 4 trades on my main account. I played some options on my smaller account. And then I did some overnights and swings. We're mainly just gonna focus on the stuff that I called out in Discord. Excuse me. I had a couple winners. Majority were losers. Um, but after I took so many losers this morning, I ended up being real small on my size on my winners as I traded from my phone. So I ended up net red for the day. Um, I did trade once at pre-market. Let's see what it was. I'm gonna see if. Oh, hold on, baby. Got my skunk in my lap. She's trying to sleep. Um, yeah, let us see exactly where. Okay, so the first trade of the day I took was Clove. So, today was crazy, right? Because we had like Wish and Clove. I think there was like 10 tickers or something like that that were good enough to be watched this morning. And then after the bell, like so many of them under underperformed, did worse than I expected they would, which is a real bummer. We went from having like so many good options to having like very few. So, 26.99 down to 26.61 is where I had my zone, and that would have been over here. Sorry, my skunk was making weird noises. I want to make sure she was good. Okay, so trying to figure out where that was going to be. Oh, 916. 916. So right here in this range. Yeah. So this is the zone I ended up taking here, which is actually the zone right before the open. Let's see. So yeah, 916. Primarily the reason I was watching it like this is because essentially there was a trend line support that formed right there, and I was literally taking a play off of trend line support, which would have been I'd like to zoom in, this candle action right here. So these 3, 1, 2, 3 candles is the ones we're focusing on. So yeah, I drew out that trend line. I figured that would be a great place where I could do my pullback system based on previous price action. You can see how these zones are based, and was able to use trend line as support as well. You had VWAP come into play right there. On the 10-minute chart, you had VWAP and the 20 SMA giving support. And the stock was strong, like it was creating a higher low in this area as well on the higher time frame. So I figured the probability was kind of good. It ended up filling, not quite in full, but darn near so close to it. Missed by about 6 cents of a full fill. And then within no time, it popped up here to 27.40. So you're looking at, I think I ended up selling for 45 cents. I think I ended up doing. So I ended up selling at like 27.10 or something. You could have caught this whole move. But I was paying attention to, areas of resistance I was worried about. And I was worried that, especially considering the bell was coming up, that it would push off of this resistance, this 27.10. So that's where I ended up scaling out and taking it for about 45 cents, which is still, a solid move. But, I could have taken it for a lot better. I could have taken the zone again for an even better move, but it started to get too close to the open. I had actually stepped away already at that point to get ready for work and such. So that was my first trade of the day, and it was a winner. Little did I know what was in store for me next, which was a day of not a whole lot of winners. So, did I lose on AHT? I did, and I'm seeing where I bought it. 7.4 to 7.24. Yep. trying to figure out exactly where this was on the chart. Lightspeed doesn't do a great job of like marking your trades. Let me see if I can pull it up. Well, let's go look at that range first that I called. I don't know if I ended up taking it or not. 7. So this is at 844, which would be 944 in here. So yeah, right in this range. Oh yeah, I remember talking about this on stream. Again, if you guys aren't watching my Twitch stream, I highly recommend you do so. It's, you know, definitely I talk about things as they happen, so it's a little bit easier to discuss. 724. So that's actually quite a large zone in hindsight. 844. So yeah, it would have been actually over here. So we would have already missed, you know, had I called this zone earlier and maybe taken it up here, you know, it would have been all right. I don't know if I ended up taking it here. Let me see. So I bought at, what time was that at? 9, oh yeah, I did. So I took it 740, 737, 734, 736. Oh, so I actually made some money on this one. So 736. So I bought it and then I sold it at 744. What time did I buy it? Bought at, oh, okay. Bought at, no. Bought at 944. So it would have been right here, right? In this candle. I bought it for, yeah, I don't know. Unless it means 1044. Yeah, guys, I have no clue. I wish there was a way to pull this up. Let's see. New chart. Let's see if we can pull up. Trading. Show executed orders. Oh shit. The fuck is that? Oh, am I looking at the daily or something? Sorry guys, I'm not super familiar with, which doesn't help. Definitely no, that's a 10-minute chart. What the hell? Okay, that's better. That's what I'm looking for. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Lightspeed. Or Lightspeed's charts, rather. So so it looks like I bought here. What would be 740-ish? 738. Yeah, so this is where I bought, and this is where I ended up selling here. And then I guess I took the zone again, and I ended up just getting stopped out down here. Wish there was a better way to display this information. I'm sure that there is. Bear with me. I apologize. I don't use Lightspeed to chart, and I've actually only just started using it on Tuesday. I'm sorry, on Tuesday. So it's very possible that you know, there's ways to do it, and I'm just not very good at it. Okay, so let's do this one as a 2-minute, 5-minute, and then 10-minute. And let's set up to show executions. Is the show executed orders the one that makes it all fucking weird? Oh, I see. So that's like buy and sell positions. Okay. I mean, I still don't like it, but at least I understand what the hell it is. Okay. My question though is, do we have the ability to, like, you know, like in Thinkorswim, you could hover over it. I also don't like that it doesn't show the, like, the gray background for what would be like extended hours, after hours. Okay. So here you go. Here's a little bit better example on the 2-minute chart. So at 7:40, I got my first fill, which is, yeah, that's what it says right here, 9:44. Weird. Okay, let's go look at the other one. So 9:46. So right here, I got filled at 7:40. Looks like it, wicked it down, filled me in full. I ended up selling up here for profit, I guess. I ended up, okay. I remember what happened. All right. So yeah, I remember this trade actually now. I apologize, guys. We made it. So I did my descending bids right here. I got filled on 3 of 4. And then I came up here and I sold half my position at this test right here. I guess. I don't know. And, I was holding the rest for a VWAP, and then I put a stop at break even. So it ended up coming down and stopping me out at break even. Then I took another position, descending bids, in the same zone. So you can see that these were done on top of each other in that same zone because I was expecting the same zone to come into play again. And then it ended up filling that order from over here that never got filled at 7:31. And then it came down and I ended up stopping myself out. So that was that trade. Another loser. At least we have that figured out. Tilray freaking spanked me a couple times actually. So Tilray was one that, this is actually just a classic example of I showed up prepared for the wrong market today, which is fine. Yesterday I talked a lot about how I was missing moves because I was being a little too conservative. And I said, okay, so tomorrow I'm going to show up with the expectation to be more aggressive. But the market that showed up today was not the market that showed up yesterday. So I came into the game this morning with the mindset of being much more aggressive to match Monday's, action. Or I'm sorry, Tuesday's action. Right? Today's Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday's action. And what? I should have been conservative still today. So tomorrow I'm going to err on the side of caution. If we have a small green day and we miss some moves, so be it. But I would like to lean towards that side until I'm just a little bit more comfortable with the aggression. But this is a perfect example of it, right? Because the stock went up and it trended up and it had lots of great potential, lots of good pullbacks on trend, lots of good interaction with the indicators. And I just managed to pick bad moves, just straight up. And then at one point, yeah, right here, actually, I remember exactly where it was. So at one point, I actually came to, I got stopped out on this move right here, this candle, which is this area. And I get stopped out on, oh, wait, no, it was this move, right? Yes. So I ended up getting stopped out on this move right here, right before work. And, I have a rule that says you cannot trade a stock for 20 minutes. God, come on. For 20 minutes after you've lost. So I ended up charting this zone out up here. Yep, right here. Down to about here, right? And no, it was higher than I think this was my, let me see if I can remember. 2174 down to 2158. So yeah, this is it. This is almost exactly it. 2174 2158. Yeah, so this is the zone I charted, and then I immediately got stopped out down here for, I was risking, I think, this somewhere around here, and it ended up stopping me out perfectly. And then right here it turns, yeah. So this was the zone I should have taken. It was the one down here. I should have been more conservative, taken a zone like right around this range. And looking back at it, there was perfect, maybe even drop it down here. Seems something I'd be more likely to do. And you could give yourself a stop of like down here or something. 20 cents. you know, the stock has potential to go to at least 21.90, potentially 22.10. So you'd be looking at a 20-cent stop to your first profit target being 50 cents. So really, really great risk to reward in that situation. Instead, I chose a higher, more aggressive zone, expecting a higher up bounce. I was hoping that it would respect the trend, and you know, if it came down, it would pull back up above the trend. You know, unfortunately, it didn't. But you know, if you come and look at it after the fact, you see that, you know, the trend actually ended up looking like this at that time. You can see how it respected this trend for rejection later on. I actually took puts over there in my other, but anyways, yeah, so I ended up taking a move up here, getting stopped out, and then immediately I reassessed, and I said this on stream. I said, well, you know, I could take this zone here instead, because this looks like it's right. But I told myself, no, listen, you have a rule, and that rule is that you cannot trade a ticker you've lost on for at least 20 minutes. So, you know, I followed my rules. And, you know, wouldn't you know it, the revenge trade in this situation would have been the correct move. But let me tell you what's dangerous about that, right? Let me tell you what's dangerous about believing that. Is that let's say that it does work. Let's say I revenge trade and it works out, right? Well, in my mind, that does damage in the future, because I'm like, well, you know, it worked last time, right? So instead of thinking of these situations where I'm considering breaking my rules and being rewarded for it as an anomaly or a you got lucky situation, you start to think of them as more like, well, you know, it worked last time. Maybe it is a good idea. And it's not. It's not a good idea. So, you know, it sucked to watch this move go. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I assessed a bad zone. I had a bad entry and I got stopped out. So, you know, it wasn't that, you know, oh, damn, you know, stop loss rate or anything like that. It was just that I assessed a zone that was a little too aggressive based on yesterday's action, as opposed to taking what I was seeing today. I didn't take the time to kind of sit back and just observe what tickers were doing. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I have to be at work at 10 a.m. I actually have to be at work at 8 a.m. I show up 2 hours late all week. It's my last week, so it's not a big deal. But part of me does feel like sometimes I'm almost like I just have to have a trade take place, right? Because I don't want to go to work having done nothing. So I sit here in front of my computer for longer than I should without going to work and just trying to force trades. So I'm hoping, you know, obviously that as I'm home trading full time, that I have the opportunity to kind of slow myself down, assess, not feel like I need to rush things. But, you know, this is just a good example of it. I could have taken an opportunity to thumb through. This is one of my favorite things to do. If I'm not sure about what the hell's going on, take a second, sit back. I literally will walk away from my computer, go into the kitchen or something, grab a drink or, you know, a banana or something. Go play with one of my animals, or and just on my phone, open up Weeble's screener, look at the top gainers on the day, which is the default screener, and literally look at all of the charts. And after you look at all those charts, you'll eventually start to see that, like, especially today, I think there were two tickers. I think Tilray and AHT were actually the only two tickers that, of the 12 or something I had on my watch list, that didn't sell off or go into a downtrend at the open. So that, I mean, like, you know, hindsight being 2020, it's so obvious, but that should have been enough to tell me, yo, market sentiment is not hot today. Market sentiment is not aggressive today. Two tickers managed to make it out of the open. So why the hell am I taking aggressive zones? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. But, you know, I didn't take the time to kind of relax, sit back and assess that. And, you know, tomorrow I will, you know, at least err on the side of caution and prepare. I'm gonna prepare to show up on the more defensive side. And if I start to miss moves because I'm not getting filled, then I'll do what I just mentioned: thumb through all the gainers, see what made it out of the open, see how many were on the watch list, you know, and maybe build some kind of sentiment there, some kind of assessment that tells me, like, okay, yeah, you know, I think I can afford to maybe get a little bit more aggro with this based on the fact that, you know, 10 of 10 runners made it out of pre-market and are still going, or, you know, something to that effect. So, you know, kind of rambly. I know we spent more time on Tilray than we needed to, but the next one was I think it was Geo. And you know, I did assess a couple of zones that were good, and I ended up just not taking them. Watt was a good example. I think I actually have it still pulled up. Yeah, look at that. Look at that at the open. Boom, rocket. Boom, rocket, right? I just wasn't paying attention. Excuse me, you could have taken that zone twice. Once for high a day and once for the secondary FOMO bounce. I mean, you know, it's 13-cent moves or whatever. I mean, this one is a almost a 40-cent move on a ticker that's only up 68 cents on the day. Like, that's a huge move. But I was watching the wrong tickers. I was too preoccupied on the things that I was currently trading. So yeah, that was my fault. It was my fault. What are you gonna do? Doesn't help. Clove was another one I ended up taking. I don't see where I did though. Let me go find it. 2682. Oh, this is at 915. Oh, you know what? I accidentally bought the wrong ticker at the very beginning of the day. I had Clove up on my level 2 without realizing it, and I accidentally bought Clove, and then I immediately sold it. So the actual trade I took, I only lost like $2. But the actual trade I took was 25.83, 26.14 at 9:39.48. So yeah, and Clove was just a stupid ticker to try to find a bounce on. I thought I could get a low risk reversal attempt here. You know, I don't trade reversals. I don't know why I thought I should should start. 26.14. So yeah, I ended up catching. So what was I doing here? What was my plan? I can actually tell you already just by looking at the chart. My plan here was to identify that this was it had sold off at the open. God, look at this. I had no business taking this trade. No business. Like, what the hell? Anyways, you know, it was a play based off the 25.21. Yeah, so I ended up getting stopped out right at 25.21 actually, so right around there. Anyways, my expectation was this big wick telling me, okay, momentum is shifting. You know, it had this. I mean, especially because, like, keep in mind that the only information I had so far was this, right? And especially when you look at this on the day and it looks like it's trending up, and then the first thing you see is big sell-off candle, which is not unusual, and then this engulfing 5-minute candle, right? What does that tell me? That says, oh shit, you know, that was the morning sell-off from all the action in pre-market, and maybe this ticker is getting some momentum. You come and look at the 2, you see this large pin bar. So yeah, I mean, I can see it. I can see why I decided to, but you know, I generally don't take moves that come up into a zone to rally out unless I'm adding to a winner of a position I'm already in. Like, let's say that I get into a zone down here and I'm in the money and it bases on VWAP and trades sideways. I'll totally, you know, add up as it comes up through an area. But in a situation like this, where I've figured I'm trying to get ahead of what I believe to be the start of the uptrend, you know, those moves can yield some pretty dank results, but, you know, their probability is so low, and I generally don't trade them at all. So, you know, maybe it was the fact that this is a Wall Street Bets ticker, and we know what they're capable of. You know, it's in my subconscious. Maybe that was what it was. But you know, my idea, I can tell you right now, is that it popped up here. It based on VWAP. I said, all right, great. I'm going to get an ad zone right around that interaction with VWAP. Let's hope that it will hold VWAP here, and then it has, you know, huge upside potential after that. I mean, you're talking $3-4 potential to look at, you know, high of the run as well as pre-market highs and stuff like that. So yeah, it had great upside potential if it worked out, but the sentiment, you know, especially looking at all the other tickers, again, had I taken a moment to assess that, you know, only 2 tickers of the 12 that were on my watch list came out of the open alive, you know, I should have been like, yeah, this move that I usually don't do that has lower probability than the moves I do, usually take. Maybe we just don't do that one today. Maybe today's not the day for it. And it would have saved me $139. So, it is what it is. Can't be too upset about it. Because now, looking at everything in hindsight, I have a good assessment of what I believe is the, correct way to not have this happen tomorrow. But it still stings. It still stings. End of the day, down $400, which is, not crazy. But, it happens. You have red days. I have a bad habit of turning red days into really red days. Had I stayed here all day and, really buckled down, there's a good chance I could have made all that back. But I stepped away. I had to go to work. I started trading on my other account on my phone, which is much smaller, small size, cash, options, that kind of stuff. And, I thought to myself, I came prepared for a market that was completely different than what I ended up dealing with. So if I'm going to have a red day, I would rather have it today on a day where I showed up prepared for, the wrong environment, and just leave it at that, right? Because let's say that I continue to try to, recover, already mentally assessing that, like, oh damn, my preparation was just, I got juked on my mental preparation for all this. It would have been an uphill battle on a day where I was already, just not landing the way that I like to. And I could have, made it a $900 or $1,000 red day. And then tomorrow, I just have that much more of a mountain to climb. And let's say tomorrow is a great day and I nail everything. Well, it would suck that great day would only be, most of it would be making back how bad I did the day before because I didn't know when to walk away. So, I'm not unhappy. I even posted in the Discord. I said, listen, it's a red day. I'm going to leave it at a red day. Don't want to overtrade in this account. This account accrues commissions and fees and stuff like that as well. So, like, if you continue to dig a hole, it comes against you fast with all those fees. That's that. You have red days. I'm not one of those guys that shoots for like every day's got to be green or whatever. I take the reality of the fact that like some days are just not your days. And it sucks because there were good moves today, just not in the time frame that I was here at my desk trading. And that issue will come to pass now that I'll be full time starting on Monday. But it's important to assess that, like, hey, you know what? Tomorrow, I don't want to dig myself out of $1,000 hole. Let's say I have a great day tomorrow and I make $600. Boom, I'm already back in the green on the week. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that stuff matters, right? Don't think about the next day. If you're just blowing up your account or you're chasing or revenge trading, you're like, no, I have to make it back. Be like, damn, dude, if I don't make it back and I stop right now at negative $5,000, I'm just setting myself up to have a whole bad week. Even if they're great days, I'll just, it's that much more of a mountain to climb. So I think it's important to think about things in that perspective. I am a big proponent of just knowing when, you're sucking. And I'll be the first to admit, I know that, people sometimes look to me and they're like, hey man, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And, on days where I'm sucking, I got to tell those people, yo, listen, I'm not your guy today, man. Sorry. I just can't hit. I'm not landing my hits. So then I start to do less call outs, do small size. I went to work and I ended up trading a few things. Root ended up being a really great trade. But I was in like a fraction of the size that I usually am in. Simply because, let's see. I think I took it right around here. Yeah, I did for this trend line. And then I wrote it up to 1380. So I ended up getting like 50 cents out of this move. But I was in a fraction of the size as normal. Because I was a little shaken, I was on my phone and I was, obviously not having a great day. So I was a little concerned about that. So, we'll be back tomorrow. Clear headed, forgetting about, how today went and assessing what to do tomorrow based on what we see tomorrow, So hopefully we're back on track for the week and we have a kick-ass Thursday. But that's going to be it for me tonight, guys. Obviously, you're always welcome to hit me up anytime. You want to chat, you got questions, feel free to throw them my way. But I will see you guys again tomorrow. I hope you guys had a better day than I did today, and I hope you guys continue to have an amazing week. I will see you then.